A little girl with a shy smile, blonde curls, sparkling eyes. JonBenét Ramsey, a 6-year-old beauty queen, was the darling of her Colorado town. But on Christmas Day 1996, that fairy tale turned into a nightmare. The Ramseys awoke to an empty bed, a ransom note, and a silence that screamed danger. Their little girl was gone. What followed was a media frenzy, a flawed investigation, and a mystery that captivated the world. This is the story of JonBenét Ramsey, a case that continues to haunt us decades later. The ransom note left on the back staircase was chilling. 2.5 pages long, filled with threats and demands. The kidnappers, claiming to be a small foreign faction, wanted $118,000 for JonBenét's safe return. But something about it didn't feel right. The police descended on the house, a beautiful Tudor, in a quiet neighborhood. The family, distraught and confused, cooperated with the investigation, but as hours turned into days, the hope of finding JonBenét alive dwindled. Then, a discovery. In the basement, hidden away in a seldom-used room, lay JonBenét's body. JonBenét was gone. The news spread like wildfire. Boulder, Colorado, a peaceful town nestled in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, was now the epicenter of a horrifying crime. Fear gripped the community as the search for JonBenét's killer intensified. Who could have done this? Was it a stranger, as the ransom note suggested? Or was the answer closer home, hidden within the walls of the Ramsey family's seemingly perfect life? This is where our journey begins. We will delve into the evidence, the theories, and the enduring mysteries of the JonBenét Ramsey case. Christmas morning, 1996. The Ramsey house, usually brimming with the joy of the season, stood shrouded in an unsettling silence. John Ramsey, a successful businessman, awoke to an empty house. His wife, Patsy, a former beauty queen, was still asleep. Their son, Burke, just 9 years old, was unaccounted for. But it was JonBenét's absence that sent a chill down John's spine. He walked through the house, his heart pounding with a growing sense of dread. The Christmas tree twinkled cheerfully, oblivious to the fear that had gripped his heart. Toys lay scattered on the floor, a grim reminder of the child who should have been playing with them. Where was JonBenét? Descending the grand staircase, John's eyes fell upon a sight that made his blood run cold. On a table in the hallway lay a handwritten note. His little girl had been kidnapped. The 911 call was frantic. Patsy Ramsey's voice, thick with terror and confusion, pleaded for help. The operator on the other end tried to maintain calm, but the desperation in Patsy's voice was palpable. The police arrived at the Ramsey residence within minutes, sirens wailing, lights flashing. The idyllic Christmas morning facade was shattered, replaced by the grim reality of a kidnapping investigation. Officers swarmed the property, securing the scene, their faces grim, their movements urgent. The ransom note, unusually long and detailed, seemed staged. The amount demanded, $118,000, was oddly specific. The investigation was now a race against time, fueled by both hope and mounting suspicion. Every corner of the house, every detail, every word uttered by the distraught parents became a potential clue in the desperate search for JonBenét. News of JonBenét's disappearance spread through Boulder like wildfire, leaving a trail of shock and disbelief in its wake. The idyllic town, known for its picturesque scenery and peaceful community, was now grappling with a nightmare. The Ramseys, once the epitome of success and happiness, were now at the center of a media storm. Cameras camped outside their home, capturing their every move, their every tear. The community, once full of sympathy for the grieving parents, began to question the family's actions. Their seemingly rehearsed television appearances, their lack of outward emotion, their reluctance to cooperate fully with the police, all fueled suspicion. The investigation intensified, the pressure mounted, and the picturesque town of Boulder held its breath, waiting for answers that seemed impossible to find. The house, once a symbol of the Ramseys' affluent life, was now a crime scene. Every inch was meticulously examined, every piece of furniture dusted for fingerprints, every surface analyzed for DNA. The ransom note, a crucial piece of evidence, was scrutinized by handwriting experts. John and Patsy Ramsey were interviewed separately, their accounts of the events leading up to JonBenét's disappearance carefully documented. Their stories, while consistent in some aspects, also revealed inconsistencies, raising more questions than answers. The ransom note, the seemingly staged scene, the lack of forced entry, the inconsistencies in the parents' stories, all pointed towards a tangled web of secrets and lies. The truth, it seemed, lay hidden somewhere within the walls of the Ramsey house, waiting to be uncovered. The investigation, like a bloodhound on the scent, turned its focus on those closest to JonBenet. John and Patsy Ramsey, their faces etched with grief, but their demeanor under scrutiny, became persons of interest. The pressure mounted, the questions relentless. John, the successful businessman, now found himself defending his family's honor. Patsy, the former beauty queen, now faced accusations whispered in hushed tones, their every move, every word dissected by investigators and the public alike. Adding another layer to the mystery was 9-year-old Burke, JonBenét's brother. His quiet demeanor, his seemingly odd behavior, sparked speculation. Theories, like cracks in a shattered mirror, reflected the fragmented nature of the case. Was it a kidnapping gone wrong, as the ransom note suggested, or was it something more sinister, a crime concealed beneath a carefully constructed facade? Some investigators leaned towards the intruder theory, pointing to the lack of forced entry, the ransom note's peculiarities. Others, however, focused on the family, their suspicions fueled by inconsistencies in their accounts, their seemingly staged demeanor. The media, like vultures circling a carcass, descended upon Boulder, transforming the quiet town into a media circus. Cameras camped outside the courthouse, microphones thrust into the faces of anyone remotely connected to the case. Every detail, no matter how small or insignificant, became fodder for headlines and primetime news segments. JonBenét's short life, her beauty pageant photos, her parents' wealth, all splashed across newspapers and television screens. The Ramseys, once private citizens, now found themselves living under a microscope, their every move scrutinized, their every word dissected. The media's insatiable appetite for information, for new angles, for sensational details, fueled public speculation, influenced the investigation, blurring the lines between fact and fiction. Despite intense scrutiny, the numerous theories out of the investigation, the case remained unsolved. Leading dead ends, suspects clear, evidence inconclusive. The ransom note, initially thought to be a crucial piece of puzzle, yielded no conclusive fingerprints or DNA evidence. Handwriting analysis failed to definitively identify the author. The interviews with the Ramsey, while revealing inconsistencies and raising suspicions, failed to provide concrete evidence of their involvement. But remained elusive. The truth is still hidden, the mystery unsolved. The house itself, silent witness to the unspeakable, held trove of forensic evidence. Each room must be meticulously examined to the smallest detail, the slightest trace of the perpetrator. The basement where JonBenét's body was found became the epicenter of the forensic investigation. A sparkle, fibers, fingerprints, every surface meticulously analyzed, hoping to uncover the identity of the intruder or expose a carefully constructed lie. Hair and fiber analysis pointed toward an unknown presence in the house, someone whose DNA did not match the Ramseys or anyone close to them, but the evidence of those analyzing remained frustratingly inconclusive. A seemingly mundane object became a focal point of the investigation. Use of the cover JonBenét's mouth bind to this, it held the potential to reveal the perpetrator's identity through fingerprints. A broken brush discovered in JonBenét's body added another layer of injury. Fibers from the brush were found on JonBenét's clothing, suggesting it had been used in the crime, but who used the brush and for what purpose remained a mystery. As the investigation progressed, the Ramsey seemingly perfect life began to unravel, revealing cracks in the facade, a family divided by grief, suspicion, and the weight of unspoken truths. John, the stoic patriarch, now faced mounting pressure from the public and the police. Patsy, her grief palpable yet theatrical, came tied to suspicion, her every move analysed for signs of evil deception. Burke, the forgotten son, remained an enigma. The investigation, like a wedge between them, shattered their unity, leaving them isolated, distrustful, and haunted by the spectre of JonBenét's unsolved murder. In 1999, almost 3 years after JonBenét's death, the grand jury was convened to hear evidence and determine if there was enough to conduct anyone for the crime. The nation held its breath, hoping for a resolution to the case that had captivated and horrified the world. The grand jury heard from dozens of witnesses, including friends, family members, and law enforcement officials. They examined the physical evidence, scrutinized the facts, and debated the various theories surrounding the case. However, despite the extensive investigation and the grand jury's best efforts, no indictments were issued. The JonBenét Ramsey case detail every theory, every speculation, splashed across newspapers, magazines, and television screens, feeding the public's hunger for information, for answers, for someone to blame. Bombarded with information, often contradictory and sensationalized, struggled to separate fact from fiction, their perceptions shaped by the media narrative. Life scrutinized and judged, their every move analyzed for signs of guilt or deception. Patsy's background as a former beauty queen, her meticulous distrust, where the presumption of innocence was replaced by a rush to judgment. Facing intense scrutiny, the Ramseys, in a highly publicized interview as evidence, Patsy spoke of her love for her daughter and her frustration with the accusations. However, their performance failed to convince a skeptical public. Neighbors, once friendly and trusting, now eyed each other with suspicion, wondering if the killer lurked among them, their sense of security shattered, their faith in justice. The JonBenet Ramsey case, a tangled web of speculation, suspicion, and unanswered questions, became a stark reminder that even in the most idyllic